Right. Whereas in multiplayer, apparently it works just fine sometimes. You just have to be in the right circumstance.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you watch that game where Game Slayer
Yeah, I
had...
watched that game. I mean, I'm not,
No. I was just curious if you had seen it.
It was an interesting game.
It was interesting.
I'm not. If I saw that happen all the time, I'd be concerned.
Right.
Right. I've not seen. I don't think that game was a total outlier, but at the same time, like I think clearly debt is different now than it used to be. Right? It used to be debt was just like the #1 tool, and it was like the big thing that separated the new players from the veterans. And, you know, I just don't think that's true anymore. And you know, I mean, I think people now worry about debt, and at the same time, if someone can win a game with a D rating, like okay, fine. You know, I don't necessarily have a huge problem with that.
No. It was just a very strange outlier game.
Yeah, it was an interesting game for sure.
I have to remember that I actually have to focus just a little bit this time because I'm up against good players and not computers. And I've been losing to computers, so this isn't going to go well, but we'll just have to see what happens. All right.
New citizen, our domination grows.
Grab that. This is a very awkward place I put myself. But hey, maybe if I can get to a pleasure dome, it'll be amazing. You never know.
Right.
Okay, so let's see. 2 scientists and 2 expansives this time. There is no power surge or any of that nonsense. There are filthy pirates. Let's see. He's gonna have to... he hooked him up. Shoot. I was hoping, but I guess we'll just wait now. Should have bought those earlier. 30. All right then. People have fun with that.
How much did you go up to?
$36,000 for that auction.
It's still at 9,000 for me.
That is expensive for an auction still. Oh man.
Yeah, that feels like that's beta 3 level price, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That these days, I don't know how that's going to work out for them. An interesting thing, is there any way to know once you've already founded when you will get that extra claim? Like if you didn't keep track of exactly what timing you founded compared to everybody else, is there any way to know which upgrade will give you that extra bonus claim?
Which extra bonus claim?
Like from founding late, if you found later than everybody else.
Well, yeah, you get it. Well, unfortunately, this is only shown before, but if you mouse, there's a widget over on the right side that you mouse over, it'll tell you when you get those claims.
Yeah, I'm just saying afterward. After you found it.
Yeah, we could probably add something to the pop-up help for the upgrade button.
I mean, if you're redoing the UI anyway, but yeah, and it even fits in really easily to the upgrade button. Just have the upgrade button tell you the number of claims, including the bonus.
It will
or
actually
win.
tell you the correct number of claims, including the extra one. It just won't highlight that.
That this is the extra
one.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Pirates. I hate those filthy bandits.
Also, pirates are invisible.
I hate those filthy bandits.
Yeah.
Like, actually?
Yeah, pirates are actually invisible. Just a detail.
Scientific colony expanded.
Alright. I would love to get these solar panels down.
Expansive colony expanded.
By the way, for everyone who's watching, well, let me put the link. You can. Oh, are these guys playing you on the next branch?
Oh yeah, this is on the.
I guess everyone's used to switching over to it, so which is great.
Exactly. So
here's a link if you want to get to try out beta 5, or beta 5 will still be changing, but our current version of it.
These steel mills really aren't doing much for me.
By the way, I've also spent some time looking at Pleasure Dome and trying to get the numbers right.
Gotcha.
And, the numbers will show up on the map when you move the Pleasure Dome around, and the numbers are all just in general. You'll be making a little less money than you were before.
I think people will be okay with that, just in general, you know. Pleasure Dome with virtual reality was getting a bit crazy because I was seeing even on 4-man games, like guy would have 2 Pleasure Domes down, and if you adrenaline boost it, I really meant to bid on that, would be making like 700-800 per Pleasure Dome.
Right.
So I don't even want to think about 8-man games.
Yeah, now when you mouse over it, you should get like this is the highest you could get for a Pleasure Dome on this map. Although I don't think that includes virtual reality.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Does anybody actually... like how nobody's making glass. Oh no, this scientist is trying to make glass. He's at plus $11 for it right now. It's impressive. Alright. Well, I can. I may as well figure it out later.
Well, I should say there's less donor income, but mostly that's a question of location. If you found close to the colony, your Pleasure Dome income will actually still kind of be the way it used to be. So there's a much bigger drop-off now.
Whoa, a slowdown strike. No.
So actually for Zoltar, you may want to think about Pleasure Dome. He's right.
Yeah, I may want to think about the Pleasure Dome because I've got these tiles right next to the colony here, and actually that's probably what I'm going to do.
Although power is 147.
It's coming down. It's all good. It was nighttime. I have solar panels down. Other people have power down. There was also just a geotherm auction, so that's going to dump a lot more power into the economy, which is an important little detail to consider. Go ahead and do some of that at this point. There we go. Do some of that. Alright. Well, I'm not in the worst spot this game, so that's something. That's a little bit different from usual. I haven't checked anything important like off-world prices or any of that nonsense. Right. Which I should really do more.
No. Also, there's no EMPs or power surges in this game.
Yeah, I noticed that. Pirates have been getting bought.
The Scientific have literally no bonus here.
Which Bradbury was smart enough that he actually... I bought Pirates and immediately Bradbury linked up his steel. Like, he had one claim floating and was just like, nope, 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 nope.
Yeah. Well, it feels so bad if you, like, get hit by Pirates for something that's, like, 1 tile away from your headquarters. I mean, that, you know...
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty painful.
Oh, yeah, it's awful.
So what's your Pleasure Dome making?
My Pleasure Dome is making me 142 compared to a $22 power price right now, so 152 now that an expansive colony expanded.
Alright, that seems reasonable.
So it's not bad. You know, it's a reasonable amount of money for a tile. I mean, it's actually a lot of money for a tile right now, honestly, except that it's paying down debt, but...
Yeah, that's literally next to the colony, so...
Yeah, exactly. But these days, one of the things that I think makes the Pleasure Dome more valuable is just the increased importance of debt. So, like, the old rules of never build a Pleasure Dome because it doesn't actually make you money aren't as relevant, because you don't want to make money necessarily with all your tiles. Some of them need to pay down debt, because you're going to have to commit money to paying down debt anyway, so...
Right.
But it's a very drastic change to the game that I actually kind of enjoy, that these debt-paying buildings are far more viable now.
Yeah, well, it just fleshes out the rest of the game in general.
Exactly.
You know, like, debt is interesting, and it's good that it's something you consider. I mean, because it's a hard mechanic to... There's no right answer with debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless you're going for a, it seems like basically you want either no debt so you makes power, or you want to kind of be hovering between, like, B and triple B or low A or whatever.
Right. All right. Well, we'll see if I can make this work. Everybody, it looks like, is just poking around with, like, looking at changes and small things like that, because nobody's gotten aggressive in the stock market yet.
Yeah,
not even a little bit.
That's really interesting.
Well, nobody's stock price is super low except for Asimov, which he just now pushed into a C rating. Everybody's been a lot more careful this game, which you actually see a lot more commonly these days, now that people are kind of figuring out debt. For a while, it was just the stock market would go crazy because one guy would lose track of what he was doing, and everybody would jump on him instantly, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
These days, everybody's kind of a lot more cautious and poking around and trying to be careful, and so it creates a bit of a different scenario overall.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely worried about the like issues of people just dying on the vine. That's a big problem. In fact, I even just asked recently, like, can we add a "Are you sure you want the found" button when you're at a potentially D rating for reveal map?
Yeah.
And I will also say that, like, you know, I know you prefer 4-man games, which is great. That's what I prefer as well. But sometimes you play 6-man. I actually really believe that if you're playing a 6-man game, you should actually not play a reveal map. Like,
it might be true.
It's just the potential of someone ruining the game for everyone by suicide is just too high. And at what benefit, right? Like, when you got a 6-player map, the map's big enough that you're going to find a good spot at some point anyway. You know, like the scanning phase is not that bad. Like the issue with it is the 2-player situation, right? Like that, I totally see why you want to reveal map mode.
Well, in 4-man games, I think most of the time for my 4-man games, especially, it works out well because of the particular crowd that I happen to draw when I play.
We definitely. Rat trying to break our stuff.
Of course we did. Now, do I still have to wait for a building to complete in order to be able to adrenaline boost it?
Well, actually, today, it's not in this, but in today's code, I just checked in something, so it'll actually speed up the rate that the buildings are built. If you
okay, and then it'll stick on the tile as well.
Yeah,
in addition to that,
okay,
good.
Yeah,
that was an interesting detail where you could even swap a building and it would still be there once the new building had been completed, but
yeah. So now you can do it faster. So
right,
interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, there's no area of effect nonsense this game, so why don't I just do that?
You know, it's funny now that the EMP or the power surge. Sometimes if they're off the market, you're like, oh wow, I can now do things I would never do normally because I'm not worried about being like,
like plant 2 off-world markets adjacent to each other, so you can adrenaline boost both.
Or just
of them.
have a big clump of buildings together. You know, like you kind of separate your steel mills from your electronics factories a little bit, just so that they weren't.
And I didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
it was just an automatic thing that I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that, actually, because it would have been better if I had been able to abuse other adjacency bonuses a bit more easily. Well, what do I want to make here? Shoot. Like, oxygen is so expensive, it's actually put me in a bit of an awkward situation. But yeah, for example, I guess what I'm doing right now is just going into more electronics factories. Could have gotten adjacency bonuses, not getting adjacency bonuses. This Offworld, okay, it's not quite done yet. It's at 59 out of 60, I guess.
6,000, 7,000, 10,000, 12,000, 14.
Did you boost your launch?
I did boost my launches.
Okay, you're looking
I don't know if it worked or not. I honestly wasn't keeping enough track, but I guess I can check again in just a moment here.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to have worked. Yeah, that's right. Offworld will launch twice as fast. Everything will go twice as fast when boosted.
Okay, there. Both of them are launching.
Oh, interesting.
What?
The dry ice condenser.
Yeah, the dry ice condensers. They're actually a good call. I mean...
Yeah, I've improved them a little bit in Beta 5 as well. Just tiny bit here and there.
Gotcha.
It doesn't. The dry ice now consumes a little less power.
That's probably good. That was one of their big things for a long time. Was just they have a ridiculous power cost.
Your stock is being bought.
People buying in my stock and such. I might actually be in trouble here. I don't know if I can pull this off quite with these 2 off-worlds getting attacked by dynamite constantly. But we'll see. Let's see. The farms, I'm just having trouble making decent money out of anything. So I guess what we'll do is do some of that. And some of that. Like the what?
a trio of engineering labs Asimov has.
Yeah.
I wonder if the response to nerfing engineering labs is just build more.
Well, actually, he was just talking about in chat a little while ago how he only just now noticed they got nerfed.
Yep. No.
Another curiosity I've
like
had,
so
by the way, is if... Well, you go ahead and finish what you were saying.
That, you know, sometimes it would make sense. Like, I'm just going to take 2 upgrades. You know, I don't necessarily need to go all the way to 4. You know, I think basically when you had the final one was 200%, it was like you were dumb not to try to go all the way up.
Yeah. I pretty much had to go for all the way. No, I sold instead of buying. Oh, that's going to cause me problems. I could have had this whole game just now. I don't think I'm going to have it now.
Yeah.
Oh, there, I got it. I got it done. It's all good.
Yeah,
I have
see.
a lot of stock in Bradbury.
Yes, about the pleasure dome. It looks like the amount of money generated went down. I assume maybe someone else built the pleasure dome. They might have a hologram, as I can think of.
Yeah, I did notice that price drop at some point though, and actually I need to turn that off. Oh, that was another interesting bug. I don't know if you spotted that when I pointed it out. I could get to things like who had purchased. I could get to an end-game report before I was actually out of the game before.
Oh yeah, I think I turned that off. I think if you
Okay.
have F1 right now, you won't have access to that.
That's probably good. I mean, I just noticed that was going on, and I was like, I don't know if I should actually be able to do that, but okay.
You're using your dry ice condensers basically to ship oxygen. Huh?
Yeah, oxygen's pretty good right now.
That works out pretty well. Yeah.
I have noticed a significant increase in the amount of dry ice available, which is kind of nice.
Yep.
And I think
Yeah,
you guys,
the third
that was an
time.
implementation, right? Like actually just...
Yeah, we just finally kind of got that in order. Of like specifically, I mean, you know, it's a pre-game setting, right? Like if you want to play with dry ice, you can choose that now. So
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
normally it's just, you know, chooses between one of those 3 settings.
Gotcha. So it just has more of a chance to hit dry ice now, or... Because I've been seeing a lot more dry ice in general.
You're either going to get a northern map, an equatorial map, or a southern map, which in the setting means basically, you know, if the setting means the ice level is
ice or
like water ice,
which
dry
type,
ice,
yeah.
no ice, and random it just picks equally between them.
Gotcha. Trying to very heavily abuse the fact that I'm expansive right now, because that's one of those big expansive bonuses that it seems like a lot of people don't really count as an expansive bonus, but it's kind of important, is the fact that Offworlds are so cheap.
Yep.
I'm trying to see if I can make that actually work for me this game.
Offworld launched. Look at all the money.
Alright.
The black market is online.
Alright.
Yeah, Game Slayer, if you find anything that's broken, just, you know, please post about it in the forums.
Invisible Pirates.
With Beta 5. I mean,
I should really post
I'm
on
not
the
surprised
forums
Beta
more.
5 has some issues. This is, you know, this is why it's a password protected branch.
Beta is beta.
Yeah.
Is it still password protected? Maybe I just was
Yeah.
in it because I had the password earlier, that kind of thing.
Yeah, if you opt in before, I think it's always
Just
available.
remembers. Gotcha. So it's still the same password as last time if anybody new was interested in joining into it, for example.
So, yeah. Qubit, yeah, holograms do stick around. They're attached to the tile, not the building. So if you delete a building, it will still be there when you put something else there. And yeah, and actually, so if you have a hologram on an empty tile, and like let's say you build an Offworld market there, the other players will not see an Offworld market come out of your headquarters, and they will not see anything on the tile while you're building it. So if they're watching closely, they will notice that suddenly like a building just appears out of nowhere, which is a telltale sign of a hologram. But you know, it's okay if there's a little, you know, bits here and there that you can pick up to notice.
Also, I noticed that
who is
holograms
playing?
no longer trigger the black market cooldown, but you can't purchase them if the black market is on cooldown. Which I suppose makes some degree of sense. I was just curious if that was intentional or not.
Sorry, what were we saying? About
You-
the black market cooldown?
Like a hologram and a spy, for example, they don't trigger black
they
market
don't-
cooldowns
That's
anymore.
right. Yeah, that's intentional.
But
I mean, they're being ignored. Often
you can't purchase
in
them
multiplayer
if the
games,
black
but-
market is on cooldown.
Oh. Okay, I should think about that, I guess.
Like, I could just buy a spy, and I can see he's doing food production. I'll actually blow it up, because I can. Now I'm going to buy a slowdown strike, and that's just going to hit up there. But now I can't buy another spy.
Offworld shipment.
Terry, okay, that's the last player.
Look at all the money. Look at all the money. Offworld shipment. Offworld shipment. Look at all the money. Look at all the money.
Do I really not have any glass furnaces down? I meant to fix that. Oh well.
So, Gameslayer, some of that stuff is intentional. The engineering lab, it was turned down in the patch, and I think that's what we're going to stick with. And the post-game report is not supposed to be available during the game, at least in multiplayer. I think it might be available in single player.
That would make some degree of sense, because it's single player. Let people do what they want, you know. But
I'm not sure. By the auto supply, is that how when you manually sell, auto supply doesn't turn back on? Yeah,
I think it's about that.
Yeah.
Offworld shipment launched. Look at all the money.
yeah, this Pleasure Dome, it keeps going. It's stuck at 126, which at one point it was higher. I don't know why it would have gone down in value over time. Oh, except I do have 2 Pleasure Domes now. Shoot, I forgot. This one's a hologram engineering lab. Yeah, I have 2. And this one's making way less money. What if I just
so someone did...
Yeah, someone did hologram and engineering lab.
Yeah,
That's a Pleasure Dome.
I did guess correctly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. So it looks like they kind of guessed where your off-world markets are, even with the holograms.
Well, I mean, I had the off-world markets up, and then, like 3 minutes later, I just threw down 4 holograms at once. So it's not exactly the order you want to do that in. All right. Well, there's that. It was interesting. Gameslayer apparently did not hear the conversation about the engineering labs being nerfed beforehand, unfortunately. Which explains why he went into 3 of them.
Yep.
He found an okay scientific spot, I guess. The Invisible Pirates, though, yeah, and I actually also saw before the games... Excuse me, I saw that somebody had commented in chat that pirates were invisible. So I think that may have even been an issue on the last patch. It's just we almost never saw pirates on the last patch, so...
Oh, really? On Beta 4? Wow, that's...
At least for part of it, from what I was seeing. That's just what it looked like was being discussed in chat. It might have been about the new stuff, because I don't know exactly who said something about it, and maybe they just jumped on that next version immediately. But... By the way, can you select Black Market in custom games at this point, or no? Like if you wanted to set up a...
turn them off?
No, I mean, like, set up a deck of Black Market
choose
to
exactly
use.
what you want. It's just, yeah. That's a UI task to do. It would be
Yeah,
fairly easy to do. Technically, it's just...
I figured it was a UI thing, so it just hasn't happened at all yet.
No.